These slides give a brief overview of some of the key issues related to working with weight stigma and aim to support you to challenge some of the narratives that our societies may hold about people living in bigger bodies. This can help to make our clinical practice and the services we work in more psychologically safe, so that we can build the types of relationships we need to improve health outcomes for everyone. Firstly, it's important to emphasise the complexity of obesity, as the messaging we receive about it can be overly simplistic and misleading. To some extent, it's true that reducing calorie intake and increasing calorie expenditure leads to weight loss. However, this formula cannot always be perfectly applied to all people, as it's impacted by many different factors, including genetics, hormonal fluctuations, mobility differences, the gut microbiome, medication side effects, sleep quality, and stress. The body is also designed to defend itself against weight loss, so sometimes in our attempts to drive calorie intake ever downwards, our metabolism may decrease, and there can be changes in the production of hunger and fullness hormones. In terms of the psychological context, it's not easy to live with obesity, for lots of reasons, physical and social. Studies have found that people living with obesity are more likely to experience depression, eating disorders, difficulties with alcohol use, and anxiety. And that people who have experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences have an increased likelihood of developing adult obesity. People living at higher weights are often already carrying emotional tension that services sometimes exacerbate without realising. Our task is to create environments that offer acceptance and hope in order to start to alleviate the exclusion and disregard that our patients and clients might be holding. Within cultures that overvalue thinness, people living in bigger bodies may experience self-consciousness, hypercriticism, and feelings of shame. Many people speak of having been at the receiving end of an almost constant commentary since childhood regarding their weight, shape, and size, which has generally been experienced as negative and highly intrusive. Shame is an emotion connected with sensations of badness or wrongness, and it often strongly motivates us to either hide away from or conform to cultural norms. It can lead to unhelpful weight management behaviours, such as crash dieting or other types of disordered eating, including binge eating, secret eating, and laxative misuse. Pride movements such as body positivity and health at every size can be helpful as a bridge out of shame, but we also need to strengthen a sense of belonging and compassion within wider society too. The idea that shaming people into behaviour change is harmful and ineffective in the long term. It's useful to be aware of the types of comments or situations that can trigger shame for people. The types of experiences that we regularly come across in our clinical practice are unsolicited advice and comments from people about appearance, weight, shape and size, especially when it's the first thing that is said. Oh, you're looking... ... About food choices. Should you be eating that? Judgments about opting for medical or surgical weight management. You're taking the easy route. Well, no wonder you're having all of these issues given that you chose to have surgery abroad. And suggestions about the speed of weight loss. That's way too fast. Or that's way too slow. There can be self-criticism regarding perceived failures. For example, weight regain. I've let myself and the team down. About behavioural slips and relapses. Why can't I just follow the rules? Social comparisons with others who may be experiencing different weight loss trajectories. But that TikTok person was looking way better than me by this point. There could be various body image issues, for example, uneven weight loss. I'm embarrassed by the way I've lost on my top half, but the other half is still the same. Loose skin. I hate the way my arms look now. And when identity is defined by appearance. I can't be in photos or look in mirrors as I don't want to think that that person is me. And then there's just navigating the world. For example, the combination of diet culture plus a toxic food environment. Definitely don't eat those forbidden foods. But yes, keep buying loads of them. Feeling restricted by a larger body and perhaps also comorbidities. I can't buy clothes, go to theme parks, travel by plane because I'm too big. or just feeling isolated. No one knows what it's like to be the biggest person in your friendship group or office. It can feel overwhelming to consider just how many potential sources of shame there are for people living at higher weights. And these slides aren't here to make you feel too scared to speak. It's more about taking a moment to reflect on how words might land, given what patients and clients might have been exposed to before. On the previous slide, one of the key words was unsolicited, and this emphasises the importance of consent. Before embarking on a conversation about weight, perhaps just ask the person, are you happy to talk about weight management today? Particularly if they've come in to talk about something else. Also focus on well-being first. How are you doing at the moment? Before mentioning appearance. There are so many other metrics for well-being other than what someone looks like, such as energy levels, mood, pain levels, blood sugars, mobility. I really noticed your energy when you walked in. Or, it seems as though you're in some discomfort today. Are alternative ways to check in with people. Don't assume that compliments are always helpful. Wow, you're looking amazing since starting on the medication. As this can sometimes actually confirm people's deepest fears about their entire value as a person coming down to how thin they've managed to be. If you feel the need to comment on someone's appearance further into the conversation, you might say something like, "You're looking really different to when we last met. How are you feeling?" Person-first language is a good place to start as well, so people living with obesity rather than obese people. But language matching your patient is important too, when you feel comfortable to do so. Reflective practice is always worth doing, taking a moment to examine your own biases and assumptions about whether you feel that obesity is mainly about a lack of self-control or inadequate motivation. Sometimes we comment on someone's weight gain or loss from a place of worry, insecurity, control, envy, ignorance, or superiority, even when we are determined to be well-intentioned. Diagnostic overshadowing and expectation management could also be good topics to discuss as a team. It's easy to believe that every health issue that someone presents with is somehow down to their weight, or to be drawn into magic cure thinking, where we so want to believe that a new intervention or a different service is going to make everything better. We might be medicating our own feelings of shame or powerlessness in these situations. Not everyone will respond to medications for weight management. Others will experience side effects that they can't tolerate, and some will plateau before they feel ready to. These situations all hold potential for triggering shame and feelings of failure, so expectation management is a kindness. We have a duty to develop services that are less likely to trigger or strengthen stigma. Not just because it's a nice thing to do, but because it's an effective thing to do. Patients will be more likely to engage with services that neither shame them nor shield them from the realities of their lives. Acknowledging the complexity of obesity isn't about disconnecting patients from their personal responsibility for weight management. It's about everyone taking a fair level of responsibility together. Cultivating an ethos of compassionate accountability means that systems and services support their staff to work with patients in a collaborative way to set intentions and maintain their motivation, but understand that the path can be full of twists and turns. Again, the comms around this will be crucial and includes the naming of services, how correspondence is phrased in text messages, letters, leaflets and posters, how teams outline their values or position on weight management, and plan for weighing people and accommodating people in a de-shaming way. Ideally, services would be shame-competent, trauma-informed and anti-oppressive in order to maximise inclusion. For staff and services who are wanting to look into this further, here are a few relevant organisations and initiatives in the South West offering training and support. The Bristol, North Somerset and South Gloucestershire Trauma-Informed Practice Framework is an accessible resource for local organisations that draws upon national and international best practice, as well as input from local organisations and people with lived experience of trauma and adversity. The BNSSG Why Weight Pledge provides a framework for a whole system approach to addressing the wider determinants of healthy weight, such as tackling health inequalities and working alongside communities to support healthy behaviours. And the Shame Lab is an organisation based between the University of Exeter and Duke University that conducts academic research about shame and its effects in professional practice, as well as provides consultancy and training in shame competence. Thanks for listening.